Okay, so we're live. We are live. It's been a hot minute. It's the first day of September. Um, Believe it or not, I'm highly excited. I actually am highly excited. Hello, my love. Hello, Virgo brother. Hello there. Hello. I'm just getting myself together, waiting for our guest for this evening. But I want to take this time to just quickly it's always Virgo season, but it is Virgo season. I just want to quickly talk about I'm going to call it a slight hiatus just because this is what it is. I had a chat with someone earlier who was discussing how I'm dealing with my business. And so I told her, I was like, you know what? My father is ill. And so I have pretty much partially stepped away from my business. Like, I'm taking care of my current clients. I have not been actively looking for new clients. I just haven't done it. So in July, my father was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. And so the world has been turned upside down. And so I've spent a good chunk of my time, like 4.5 days in Houston, and then 2.5 days in Arlington. But it's a lot when you have to care for your parents. And we talk about one of those days, we see the commercials and they make it look all happy-go-lucky. It's not always happy-go-lucky. Pops has his good days, he has his bad days, but he is a fighter. And so, I feel blessed that I'm at a point where I can still handle my business and help my siblings take care of my parents. So tomorrow is their 50th wedding anniversary. And it's one of those things where, like, my father and I have been planning for their photo session since last year. We were talking about doing their session this spring. We didn't do it. And then we were talking about the session in June. He was literally at a wedding, my cousin's wedding, dancing, laughing. And it's just so crazy how this disease has come in and, like, it's put him down. So I wish we had done the photo session. You do the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but life is what it is, and life is lifing right now. But just because that's happening doesn't mean that we cannot show up for ourselves. So it is September. Shout out to all the Virgos, because you know how we do at all the things. And I'm excited to have Rejy. He's going to be our guest today to welcome in September. So happy to have him. So if you will send your request to Rejy, then we'll get you in. And we'll start talking about what we want to talk about as a digital creator. So, things are good. Things are good. But consider this. I do want to say this. When people say, hey, there we go. I mean, if you really don't want to know, you may not want to ask that question, because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be like, you want an honest answer? Or you want an answer? I'm going to keep it real at all times. Hello. Hi. How are you?
Hi. So good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I know, right? It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here with me to bring in this month. This is a perfect day to have this conversation. So thank you so much. Now, before we get into it, let us have you introduce yourself, what you do, what your concerns are, and then we'll start our conversation. Sound good?
Amazing. Yes. Okay. First things first, I did want to recognize all the Virgos here today. Okay. It is, my homegirl, my queen, my love, my life, Beyonce is a Virgo. And when I tell you the way I've been blasting Virgo's groove, but a little bit about me. My name is Rejy. My government name is Rej, but I go by Rejy. I'm really informal. I am a social media marketer. I am a digital content creator and a singer-songwriter, and I love all those aspects about my work.
Sweet. It's isn't her birthday on the 4th? Is it the 4th?
Yep,
I'm not part of
the
the Bayhive. It's not my thing, but I stay aware of such things. Okay, so I will say that. But I've had a couple of her songs in my head all day, so I'm not gonna lie about it. It's kind of playing, but whatever.
The
But you
groove,
know how Virgo's
yes.
feel.
The
So
groove.
let me just start real quick before we get into it about how we met.
Yes. That's
Because like I was mentioning to you earlier in the
mhm.
email that social media is to be social.
Right.
Right. A lot of us look at social media either as individuals building our personal brand or an organization or a company or whatever. We look for the connections and we kind of stop there. We don't really get into getting to know people, but
Hmm.
we met virtually.
Hmm.
And I'm not mistaken, it was through one of these Salesforce events.
Yep.
Like, was it two
The
years
yeah,
ago?
it was like a year or two ago. Yeah.
Was it a year or two?
I think it was
Was
like
it?
a year ago. It was like a year
Was
ago.
it a year ago? Was it last year? It was last year.
Yeah,
It's
like
just like
this
it's all
summer,
coming together.
same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah. But yeah, so we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? I am open to meet new people." Blah blah blah. And you reached out in my DMs,
Yes,
okay?
it did. Yes, it
And
did.
I was like, "Hey, let's have this conversation." And then we just connected, and I think the rest is history. We met in person last year.
Hmm.
Yes, right, because I did my photo project. You were one of the subjects,
Yes.
right? So yeah, it just kind of goes so fast. But it's interesting when you get beyond just the numbers, and I know as a digital creator, and I'll talk about this, people do look at, for example, how to go viral,
Hmm.
which, whatever, okay, whatever. We look at that. But the idea of being, on social media is to meet other people, like-minded individuals, and really build a connection or a community like
Right.
that. Like that is really part
That
of
is
it.
a huge keyword that you just jumped in on. Like the one, I don't even know if you noticed, but a big deal of the work that I do is creating community. That's all. Because if you have a community of people that are invested in you, your brand, your journey, then you can get those people to do exactly what you want them to do, whether that's buy merch or come visit the store or check out our services or what have you. You know, as a small business owner, one of the biggest boons in your arsenal is going to be the community that supports you.
I completely agree. And I know 2020 was this sort of reckoning of the small business,
Hmm.
we'll say community, all right? And there was so much done for us small businesses, all these events. And then 2021 came around.
Hmm.
And it felt like, well, that was last year.
Yeah.
So were you people really not truly invested and committed to, helping out the small business owner in the communities? And, or was it just, was just talk? Because a
Right.
lot of us say a lot of stuff and like our actions are not quite balanced.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree. I think I mean the pandemic hit us all really hard. It really did. But when you got those stimmies, fam, where were you spending them? So I get that. Listen,
Oh, you know
I
what?
give
Let
you
me
the
let me
first.
just jot that down because I want to talk about where we're spending our money. I do want to go there, but real quick. Okay, so your current position, you are a digital creator. Where?
I do my own digital content creation. For myself, it's more of a personal thing. I like to think of it as a case study um, for just different techniques that I find online and different things that I'm learning because social media is an ever changing landscape. But beyond that, I've been working in this field for a couple years now, and I've worked with some really large brands on some really amazing projects through We Are Rosie and working with the Trevor Project, and then before that, Education Through Music, and before that, Collab Arts. So there's been plenty of experiences that I've gotten as a digital creator, and then I've done some influencer work myself. So like there's levels to these things, and it's all different in different aspects depending on what your goals are.
So, as a small business owner, and so this is the group that we're talking to,
Right.
and it could be a person too who wants to grow their personal brand or be an influencer. Where do you start? Like, how do you decide where to start?
Well, I think one of the best ways to start, and I tell this to all of my clients when I do freelance social media work, the first thing that I have to know is who are you? You know, what is your mission statement? What is your goal? What need are you hoping to fill? I need the story, because the biggest act that we do as content creators and digital media professionals, copywriters, and things like that is storytelling. That
Mhm.
is the bulk of our work, is telling stories around a goal. And how can we help you? How can we fill your need? What is the one thing that I can give you that nobody else can? And why is that important? Once you can answer all of those questions, now you've got yourself a mission statement. Now you have a vision for your brand. Now you have, just a straight one liner that says, for me personally, mine is always, let's learn and grow together. That's my big.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
want us, because we're all people, we're all learning
Yeah.
different things, we're all growing on our own journey, and I want us to do it together. I'll share my information with you, you share your information with me, you know? So once you have that idea of like, who are you? What do you provide? Why is it important? Once you answer those questions, then you can get into building content.
Let me just take a quick little, I like to go off the beaten path, if you will, because you know how I do my
Absolutely,
conversations.
yes.
So I'm thinking back to 2020 and part of 2021, where I'm going to call it one of the buzzwords, I hate to say it, was to be authentic, to be your
Ah.
authentic self, to
Mhm.
show up as you are, right?
Mhm.
Do you find, it's your own personal, opinion, clearly, because it's your opinion, personal
Right.
opinion.
Right.
But do you find that people who are just getting started, either as an influencer or a brand or what have you, they don't know who they are, so their authenticity is kind of like questionable?
I wouldn't say that it's questionable
Okay.
because I think there is something really beautiful about watching a creator grow over time or watching a business grow over time,
Mhm.
watching, anyone grow over time, and you can see the refinement in the process. And you can see, I mean, this has been a trend forever,
Mhm.
especially on YouTube, which kind of sparked the whole creator community, like
Yes.
content creator community. Um, what sparked that thing was just people making silly videos at home, and then over time they just kept making the same type of video and refining that video and
Yeah.
refining the style and refining the process over time, and now they have a clear cut identity and a multi-million dollar business, you know. So I think I don't want you to feel hindered, as someone who owns a business, as someone who is wanting to just dive into the world of content creation or influencing or whatever. You want to show up as yourself, definitely, especially now where the market is leaning more towards micro and nano influencers and less towards
Yes.
mega and giga influencers. You know,
Yeah.
so you really want to be your true self. Some of my favorite influencers are the ones that, just talk in layman's terms,
Mhm.
straight up vernacular, and I feel like they're best friend. There's this one content creator on TikTok actually, and she just does wig installation videos on TikTok. But I love the way she talks, and I think they're so funny about the way that she describes these wigs, the way that she talks about how she's doing her hair and how you should do your hair when you're installing your wigs. And then, I've been following her for about a year. Come to find out, Croy LeRae, who was a famous rapper, and Nicki Minaj had her do their wig installations on their music videos. Just because she shows up, she feels like a cool, like that's my girl, that's my friend. Let me
Yeah.
call her and see if we can get her so she could put in the wig for me because I like that and I want to support her. You know?
So, what do you think brought on the shift of moving from the mega influencers? Because there is more talk about going with the micro and the nano, what have you. What brought that on, you think?
That buzzword that we were talking about earlier, the need for authenticity. Because nothing screams buy me more than a random person who has
Yeah.
tried it and
Yeah.
won't lie to you about it. They'll tell
Mhm.
you, I don't like this, don't invest in this. Or they'll tell you, I love this. Because what do they have to lose?
Yeah.
They're just sharing their opinions and everybody's got one.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why when you can get an honest feedback or an honest reaction on your product and they're saying, yo, guys, like they didn't pay me to do this, they just asked me to
Mhm.
try it
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I love it and I've
Yeah.
bought some myself. That was what happened with someone else that I met at the BYOB experience, Care Beauty. They were like, we'll send you some product, just tell us what you think. And I did, and I made a whole YouTube about it. And I bought two more bottles because I liked it that much, you know? So shout out to Acure Beauty. If you're looking for some skincare, they're really great black owned brand, and they make their products for black people. So it's made by and for black folks. And you know, that true authentic me saying, I'm not lying to you, I promise. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid. There's nothing that I'm getting out of this.
Yeah.
I just like this so much that I had to share it with you. And that's the best kind of endorsement you can get.
Yeah. It feels like it's coming around full circle. Like I'm clearly from a different generation, just saying. And like when I was growing up, it was more about word of mouth, right? So if my friends tried it, then I would ask them, "Hey, how'd that work? How'd that go?" They're like, "Oh, this is great, yada yada yada." So
Hmm.
the idea of an influencer influencing my purchases doesn't really exist. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, like, what that got to do with me? Like, I don't understand.
I don't
You know, like,
know.
so just bought this. Why do you need to buy? It's like, I don't get it. But it feels like it's going back to, just random person
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, I bought this cookie dough. It's the best cookie dough. You should get it." It is more authentic and it's not paid for. It's just, I really like it. I want to tell the whole world about it, and you should buy it too.
Or I've never used this before. I'm gonna try it, and I want you to
Yeah,
see me try it. Here's
yeah.
my honest reaction as I try it, and that's like chef's kiss at that point.
Yeah,
You know?
I did one of those recently. I haven't posted. God, I am like deep in the gutter on sharing my content. Like I still have stuff from June, and I know it's September, but it's gonna get shared. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
in
yeah.
the bucket. But I'll record something, and I have every intention to share it that day. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Something happens.
Hmm.
Something happens along the way.
Life
But
happens.
okay,
Life happens along the way.
man.
I will not lie and say that this job is an easy one because it's
Yeah.
not. I
No.
I do this for a living, and I absolutely hate. I can't stand having to update and film content and
Yeah.
take pictures,
Yeah.
do all this stuff. I'm not even like just because I'm the kind of person that lives in the moment. I like to just experience life as
Yeah.
it happens. And you know, my boyfriend says it all the time. He's like, he's like, you know, we don't take enough pictures. I was like, because I like being with you, and if I have to take a picture, then like, doesn't matter. Like, who's to say that that's real? I'm here right now
Yeah.
with you. You know, so like I don't need a picture because we're here together.
We're here
Uh,
together, but you need something, just like the one or two to kind of make like your screensaver, like the
yeah,
phone.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you need that. You need like one or
So,
two.
but that goes into like, yes, this is not an easy thing to do, and it takes a significant amount of extra effort for you to take it and then write an engaging post and then have people, you know, leave comments and strategic hashtagging and like there are levels to it, but like
Mhm.
my my word of advice to everybody that wants to get into this is just start, just make something, and you know that's pot to kettle choir, you know, because I'm the same way. I don't like making content. I love when the content is out and getting that
Yeah.
reaction and getting the feedback and building it and making it myself. But to do it so often um, and so frequent is a task.
It's a job.
It is.
Um,
That's why.
it's a job. Yeah. It's
I,
I had Fridays. Fridays were my content creation day. So I would get up, I'd figure out what outfits I'm going to wear, what the topics were. We'd record it, do whatever we had to do, and then it was like, okay, let's start editing. And if I was really good and focused, I would pre-schedule it, so then
ooh.
it just goes automatically. Lately, it's like it's in this bucket, like it's at folders. So one of these days, I'm going to put it all. I'll be like, yes, I have nothing to record. Well, not really. I was recording something, but
Yep.
can we talk about just getting started? Because
Yeah.
there's so much talk now. And I must say, even though I'm on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and say it as a photographer. Instagram is sucking right now. I'm just going to put it out there for me because it's just not.
I
Um,
know. I disagree. I think some of my favorite Instagram reels actually are all photography based.
Yeah. And everything is now real based. So I understand, speaking of being authentic and true to yourself, that Instagram has decided that they want to be like TikTok. Okay. I guess.
Hmm.
So everything is recorded video. And there was, I saw a study recently about where people are spending their time.
Hmm.
And TikTok is number one,
Yep.
right? YouTube, I think, is number 2. And then I believe it's Instagram and then Facebook. And then I think Snapchat is still on there, which I have never.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not my thing. So let's talk about if it's not your thing. If TikTok is not your thing,
Yeah,
well, what does
TikTok.
the person do?
TikTok is not my thing, so I can totally talk about that. And
Hmm.
that's where we go to the other ones. We have so many avenues right now, right?
Hmm.
But like the big ones, and especially if TikTok isn't your thing, let me put you on right now. Twitter is that girl,
Right.
the girlies that don't like taking pictures, that don't like making videos. If you got a lot to say, and you're quick-witted, you're clever, you do your research, or any of these things, or you could just be ignorant. Honestly, you don't need nothing to like just to keep it a buck 50 with y'all. Because I'm not gonna lie to you about this business. There are plenty of people. I actually just saw one at a Beyonce party, an influencer, and he's an animator, but he just posts his pictures on Twitter and Instagram,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he makes black versions of childhood cartoon characters.
Oh,
Yeah, shout out to it's Hippie Potter, um,
okay.
and Thaddeus. He is amazing, and it's beautiful work. It's really fun, and it kind of like feeds your inner child because that's what he wanted when
Yeah.
he was a kid. Um, so sharing that on Twitter, Twitter is that girl. If it's not your thing, you just got. It's like sending a text to the void. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
I have to admit, I joined Twitter in 2009
I
because
think I did around the same time. Yeah.
it was so fun and fresh, and I was in New York City, and there's always something going down in the city, and
Right.
so to be able to find events and parties and festivals and hobnobs kind of go all over, it was like the place to be,
Right.
and then to sort of like tweet an event with all these people and then meet them face to face, like
Mm.
there was a whole club, right? And then it just kind of turned. Something happened. I don't know if it was like other options. Well, Instagram came out and some other stuff. So, I kind of lost favor with it. But lately, because Instagram is just, I
It,
don't know.
it,
I have an account for SEO purposes
mhm.
and to keep sort of feeding that machine. Um, I don't really have a lot of love for it. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just like, okay, I'm here, so I am here.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where what's old is new again. So I do find myself spending more time on Twitter again, sharing my film work, sharing my work with my clients, sharing my thoughts, and even my YouTube. Like I created YouTube way back when, so my parents knew where I was. Their baby girl is in New York, and they're like, "Oh my God, is she okay?" So I do
Right.
like a every video. They're like, "And I'm here today. We're doing this, and I'm going to go to work today." And da 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 da. And then I kind of stopped,
Mhm.
right? And then I picked it up again and started doing like some blogs. No, take it back. You know what it was? Online dating. That is a writer's dream. Like you can't like that content creates itself. The stuff
It
that
really,
happens, you
honestly,
can't make that stuff up. You can make
there,
it up.
there's another one. So again, like I want to share these ideas because I want the audience to understand, and for anybody that's listening, I want y'all to understand that like you truly do not have to do anything special at all. If you think it's funny to somebody.
Yeah.
If you think it's entertaining to somebody. If you think it's it's interesting to somebody. There are these two girls on TikTok and they just read people's Tinder bios. And they
Seriously.
like yeah, and they just share their thoughts on the Tinder bio because they're comical. Some of the things
Uh,
that people put on their Tinder profile are just absolutely hilarious.
I was at a place where I wanted to create a service to not only photograph
Mhm.
men for their profile on a dating site, but also help them write, like a
Yeah,
really nice bio that
yeah,
didn't lie, but was just more appealing to whomever they were trying to attract. I was like,
right.
dude, there's like so much money to be made here because y'all are
Yeah,
like, not,
a cover letter.
not happening. It was just so, but yeah, so that brought it back. And then, of course, I got married, so I followed it. So it's always been like a sort of a living diary for
Right.
me. It's never been about Like, how do I make money off this? And how do I do this? And I just thought, I mean, I remember a young lady tell me she wanted to be a YouTube star. And I thought, really? A YouTube star? I just go on YouTube to just sort of share what's going on in the world. Now I know people make money off of all these platforms. I'm fully aware of that. But I've never had that as being my goal.
Right. And it
It's
should,
just,
I don't think it should be anyone's goal. If you go into content creation or, digital media, videographing, anything like that, if you're going onto the internet with the intention of making money on the internet, you're going to have a really hard time doing that
yeah,
because you don't know what the people want. And if you don't know what the people want, then you can't find a community. You can't build a community if your only goal is to be famous.
yeah,
Because then
yeah.
the answer
So like,
goes, because then the follow-up question is, okay, you want to be famous for what? You want to
yeah,
star which kind? Because
yeah.
there's so many. You
Hmm.
have the chefs on YouTube, you have the silly videos, you have the animated videos, you have my younger brother. He is 11 years old, and he makes animated videos on YouTube, and he's got like,
Really?
yeah, he just makes little short, like 30-second animated videos on YouTube of flags of different countries talking to each other. And he's got like 10,000 followers on YouTube, 10,000 YouTube subscribers. And he's got a community, and he's monetized now. Like
Yeah,
but he is all of 11 years old, and he would just upload these for fun, not for any
yeah.
other reason. And then he engages with the people in the comments. And he's like naturally, because this is
Hmm.
like, I want to share this out with you. What do you think? Ooh, you have questions. Let me answer your question. Blah, blah, blah. And then you start making a conversation and building the community. So these people feel like they know you. They feel like
Yes.
they have an emotional connection with you,
Hmm.
the work that you do. Even if it's just like, you make me laugh. And I love that. And that's all I want
Hmm.
to see is your fun videos because they make me laugh, or they make me smile, or they make me think, or they just put me onto stuff that I've never heard of before. You always have the next big thing. I love that for you, or just old stuff that I've never heard of. You know,
Yeah.
because there's
Well,
tons
you mentioned
of content
you
out
mentioned two things there that I want to make sure people understand. Is one, the idea of picking your platform.
there.
But I mean, ideally, it should be where your target audience is, right? So,
But
like,
what
if
if?
the folks you're talking to are not on TikTok,
Mhm.
although everyone says you should be on TikTok, you should be on TikTok, it's the place to be. It's like, but the folks I'm talking to aren't really there. Do
Mm,
you do it anyway?
mm. That's a good question. That was not where I thought you were going with that question.
Go. Where was I
No, that's
supposed to go?
an excellent question. I think as far as the internet is concerned, in my experience, you don't find your people find you.
Oh, I love that.
That's always been how the internet works.
Yeah.
Is you don't find your people find you. And there's ways to market on the internet, but if you're someone, like, say I wanted to start a t-shirt business, right? And I know that my t-shirts are ethically sourced and, super well made, and the designs I think are just absolute fire. I post them on my Instagram, right? Because that's the platform that I can just take a picture and post. Boom, done, right?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's the most accessible, right?
Hmm.
Say you're not getting any traction from doing
Yeah.
that. And so you're like, gosh, I don't know. How do I rework it? There's strategies on Instagram if you want to do that. But maybe you're just like, man, I don't even really like Instagram. I wish I could just take a video and like just show people the process, maybe let y'all in on something. Or just document the journey. Maybe that's your idea is like, I kind of wanted to start this, but I think I'm going to document this journey and see my growth over time. And I want to post it somewhere to keep me accountable. And you're like, okay, so I don't have enough for like a 10-minute long YouTube video, 15-minute long YouTube video, but I could, do like a 3-minute video and post that on YouTube. And then you're like, oh no, I don't have any video equipment. What can I use?
Cell phone.
So then you decide, okay, then I'm gonna do that. Turn on your phone and take a quick video and realize that there's a whole app of people who just make 3-second, 5-second 3-minute videos.
Yeah.
And then you find your community there. You're just like, I'm documenting my journey as I do this. And people take notice. And they're like, hey, oh. And you also have to understand, like, I don't want to make it feel like, maybe not every platform is for you. And that's totally fine. But there are also, I like to say, go with the path of least resistance. Whichever one you're
Mm,
most comfortable on,
yeah.
use that one. Start there. You can branch out and try new things later. But start there. Maybe you're not great with words, but you can put together something quick. Twitter's your girl.
Hmm.
Maybe you want something super duper organized and concise that you can invite your community that isn't necessarily on everything else. Everybody's on Facebook, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you have business interests, so you jump to LinkedIn. Maybe you like crafts. Pinterest is that girl for
Pinterest
crafts.
is always the place. It is the best place, highly underrated.
Highly
And only people
underrated.
understand the longevity of your content when you leave it on Pinterest. It is there forever, and
It
you get your bang for your buck with Pinterest.
absolutely no. Pinterest, you could do photography, you could do crafts, you could do
You can do your videos. I mean, like, there's so much.
videos, and that's something that I wanted to get into too. That you had mentioned about your backlog of content, if I may.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, no, 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 no. It's no tea, no shade. Um, but with a backlog of content, you have like a really good thing right now where, yeah, you can schedule your posts, but also you can reuse stuff. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
And one of my mentors, my marketing mentor, when I was social media manager at ETM, she was like, if you can't reuse a post 3 times, then it's not worth using.
Mm,
If you can't
that's
reuse
really nice.
content 3 times, then then it's not worth using. Not in a bad way, just like I like to use things at least 3 times over like months, because
Oh yeah.
the life of something, especially on the internet, is pretty quick. The life of a tweet isn't even longer than 10 minutes.
No, I don't think it feels like seconds in my opinion. Feels
Yeah,
like seconds. It was like
yeah,
12 hours ago. I was like, oh, I'm a little late. But you are correct. Like I'll take a blog post and then I'll post as a blog post. Sometimes I'll do a quick little video recap of the blog post and then I'll do like the top five something out of that blog post
right.
to kind of put it all over the place.
Content out of one thing.
Yeah.
That is where you're really going to get the bang for your buck out of the effort that you're putting into creating this content. Like, you can make a short video and then you can use clips from that video, or you can
Hmm.
react to the
Yeah.
video, or you can provide more context to the video. Like, there are so many different avenues that you can use with this one piece of content. And now you have a week's worth of content based off of one thing that you made.
Yeah. It could feel daunting. I mean, for a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't want to be on camera, like you said, or I don't know where to start. And then there is, in my opinion, there's a lot of extra chatter. My mother has always said, you don't have to do what everybody's doing. Like, do your own thing. So, like, I never joined Snapchat.
Right? I
It
mean,
was not, it was not my thing. I was like,
yeah,
I don't,
not
I
bad.
don't think my audience is there. But then you get the whole deal of, well, there is your target audience, and then there are those who aspire to be part of your brand and what you're offering. And I get that, but
But
like you said, find your space, put
right,
your love and energy there, and call it a day is how I look at it.
people will come. Like, I mean, not to quote Close Encounters, but like, if you build it, they will come. Like
God
that's just
bless.
true. That's the nature of social media. Is there's so much content out there, it's impossible for nobody to see your stuff.
I know, right? Yeah,
So
yeah.
you will not get lost in the sauce. And the other piece of advice that I will give you is something that I learned in a webinar, and something that I tell everybody that ever asks me about jumping into social media, jumping into content creation, jumping into being an influencer if that's what you want to do, or just like promoting your business and marketing your business. And you might be scared, you might be nervous because you're like, oh my God, there's so much content, the market is already oversaturated.
Yep, yep.
But this brings us back to our beginning point, that authenticity point. The market may be oversaturated, but it's not oversaturated with you because
Yes,
you're the only you that we got, you know?
yes.
So your thoughts, your lived experience, your perspective, your ideas, they're all going to be uniquely yours, you know? So that's why I say like don't get bogged down over the process because I do that myself. I think about, I have like 7 TikToks scripted out already, and I
Oh,
have
Lord.
edited or recorded not nary a one of them because I'm just like, oh, they have to be like recorded and they have to be edited, and I gotta get my lighting right, and I need to get a haircut, and I have to make sure that like all of this is fact checked, and where am I gonna put my sources? Why? For what? The internet isn't checking for you that bad because they don't even know you, you know?
True. Yeah. Yeah.
So just make the stuff. If you build it, they will come.
And you can always fine tune it. Like I
Yeah.
remember from my previous life, we talked about having the most viable product. MVP. It can be 80-20. If it's
Hmm.
80% there, put that sucker out. It'd be all right. That 20% you can fill it in later, but
Yeah.
at least get something going.
And who's to say, like, if you hate it and you don't like it and you're just like, no, the wonderful thing about the internet is that you can take it down. For the most,
Yeah, that is true. You can
for
always
the most
delete
part,
it.
you can take it down. I have posts on my Instagram that are currently archived because I plan to use them for promo later.
Oh, okay. Well, look at you. Mine are archived because it was just different time, different place. Didn't really make sense for, like, in the beginning on my photography page, I shared everything. So I literally had my giraffes and my landscapes next to the babies and the weddings. And it was like, this doesn't make any sense. This is
Yeah,
not
you refine it
guided. Yeah.
later. You
Yeah. You
refine
can find it later.
it later.
Yeah.
And that
Because
is
we're still growing. We're all evolving.
right. And if you change it, guess what? You could ditch the girl and build something else.
You could.
That's what I did. I mean, that's not necessarily what I did, but my Instagram was hacked and I couldn't use it.
Yes.
And so I built
Yeah.
a new one. And then I repurposed all the content that I had on my last Instagram to my new Instagram because nobody on this Instagram has seen it.
Well, if you consider how many posts a lot of us have, it's so deep in the belly. If you were to repost it, it'd be new for somebody,
It'd be
for a
new.
lot of somebody's,
Exactly.
right? So the idea of I've already used that, nobody knows, maybe, but like could be 5 people might know, but
Hmm.
everybody's like, oh, that's brand new. It's like, no, I thought you used that before. Nobody knows, and no one's going to say anything anyway. It's your choice. It's your outlet. So see, do it as you see fit. So we did talk about the misconception of trying to go viral.
Yeah, you don't try.
Yeah.
This is wonderful because I feel like that was like that's a huge deal in social media marketing. Is everybody's like,
It
oh, I
is.
go viral. I need a viral moment. I need a viral moment. When I go viral,
Yes.
changes, and that's true. But you cannot. No one can predict what is gonna go viral. I remember this video went viral, and it was this guy in his car. He just got bubble tea, never tried it before, and choked on a tapioca ball. And like popped it all out, like the milk tea just like came out of his nose. He was like, what was that? It's just like a really funny video. That went crazy on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. People were making memes. You will never know what's gonna go viral.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like the internet is so fast paced and always changing that truly anything can go viral. You could, you know, I remember this one song. Oh yes, this one song is trending right now. It's like a I wanna go home. I wanna go home. And it's just people like laying in their bed. It's like woke up at 9 a.m. and it's like, Meg the Stallion, body yada 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 yada. And it's like 10:30, it's you with coffee being like, I wanna go home. That's a video. And
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
so bizarre. It is very bizarre.
you will never know what's gonna go viral. And it's really funny, but that's the good thing about the internet is that anything that you do could be a moment. You know, for another example, recess therapy, right? This the thing that's viral right now is this little boy talking about corn. recess therapy. They do interviews with children, and
Oh
so
my God.
kid is this cute little black boy, and he's like, it's corn. It's the most beautiful thing. I love corn. And then I tried it with butter, and it completely changed my life. It's you never know what's gonna go viral, friends. I'm telling you. You don't know. So don't chase that. That can't be a goal of yours when you're
Yeah.
going in. Because you could the dumbest thing that you put out, you might be like, oh my gosh, this is not my best work. Oh my goodness, this was so sloppy. And that's the thing that goes viral. Or the thing that you put the most time and effort into, your whole heart into, and people respond really well to that. Or it could be the opposite, and people are like, eh. But
I
then
got
it's
the
like
opposite.
you going
Yeah.
like this for 20 minutes. You're like, nah, 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 nah. And they're like, oh my God, this is so funny. Oh, it reminds me of this other meme with the kid being like, you got games on your phone? Like, say, literally,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So anything could go viral. And so,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't try and chase that as a goal because virility is such a unpredictable
Yeah.
thing. But what you can do is build content and just
Yes.
anything.
And
And
it's so like I mean, I don't think I've ever had a viral moment, but when you just try to put something out to put something out. So I was shopping for some photo props, right? Some furniture.
hmm
And I had like this little 10-second clip of me looking at this gray bench. And I just put it on YouTube to kind of fill the space. People
hmm
loved it. There are no words involved. It's just this bench and what it looks like. And I was like, seriously? Are you kidding me right now? I mean, it's like you just don't know what people are going to gravitate towards and why they do it. Because I
right,
didn't get it. I was like, I don't get it. It's just some
right.
random shot I took.
And you know what's funny? I actually, so I'll be honest here. I had to look something up really quick because I was curious as to what constitutes viral. You know,
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so what
what
does?
what is the metric that means
Okay.
you've gone viral? And apparently, it is more than 5 million views in a 3 to 7 day period.
Well, that ain't me.
So, though that is a goal to have,
Okay.
a very attainable goal, knowing the internet,
Yeah.
there's 7 billion people in the world plus.
Yeah.
So, it's very achievable and attainable, but because it's so fast and because there's so many things, I would never make that your goal because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah. I agree with
It's like
that.
an investment, where you're saying like I'm not going to just throw my money into the void, but I'm going to actually like throw it into the companies that I believe in.
Yes. hmm Completely. That's interesting. So 5 million, huh?
5
Jesus
million
Christ.
in 3 to 7 days.
3 to 7 days.
More than
Okay, so I got a little work to do. I
now.
got a little. Well, I mean, I put my content out for myself, if anything,
hmm
and for maybe the 5 people who are like, oh, this is actually very good. I don't ever think I need to try to get XYZ views on something. I was like, whether somebody sees it or not, I'm gonna keep creating it, right? Like I write my blog posts because I want to write my blog posts. It's not so much as I need folks to respond to it. It's like, no, it's that living diary thing for me. And so if someone else says, I'm going for that same thing, then hey, we can share, we can talk, but it's never, I needed to do something.
And
Although I know as a business owner, I should try to create content that stirs up business. I'm
that's
50-50 on it.
I think that's a good point that you're making to make content for yourself. I think even when I'm working with clients, we go back to our mission and we're saying, okay, we can make content, but how does it relate to the mission? And always
Mhm.
going back to, granted, I work a lot in the nonprofit space, but
Yes.
even with some of the influencing clients that I have, I'm like, okay, well, what's your mission? What is your mission? What do you stand for? Because once you have that, you can always build more content around that. Even if your mission is to be famous and to be viral or have a moment or whatever, then take us there. Because that's what people want to know, right? That's why
Yeah.
I'm here. That's why people hire me because they're like, I don't know how the internet works. Somebody share that with me. What was your
Yeah.
journey? Tell me how you did it.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of the kids that go viral, a lot of the creators that have big business and go huge started just like you with, I don't know, I just want to do this thing. And people gravitated toward it.
Hmm.
If you
Hmm.
build it, they will come. But don't go in with the intention of making it overnight, you know? Because you never know. I'm telling you, the internet is so freaking weird. You never know what's gonna go viral. A friend of mine, my actual roommate, she was like, she's a content creator as well. Shout out to Zen, at Zenia underscore Lydia. Love her. But she will make like these beautiful video diaries, and they're
Mm.
gorgeous, and they're well thought out, scripted, beautifully edited, videos. And then she'll go on TikTok and she'll be in her pajamas and a bonnet and post like a reaction video to like one of those, these are what your parents look like, flick, flick, flick,
Yeah.
flick, 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 flick. And she's like, that's suspicious. That's weird. And that'll be the one that gets like 5,000 views and, tons of comments and stuff. Meanwhile, she's got this carefully curated, beautiful content that's built for
Mhm.
herself. And, we're at like 100, 200
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, did anyone even look at this? I put so
Right.
much work into
Right.
it.
That's all that to say. You really don't know what's gonna go viral until it goes viral.
So tell me this, because I know for myself, I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little with all that's going on. But creating a content calendar, because as a small business, we do
Ooh.
have cycles,
Yeah.
right? Like this is fall. Um, if you're doing like for us, if you're doing photography, it's time for that fall family or preparing for the holidays. Because
Mm-hmm.
you get your holiday shot in now to get your cards out in November to be ready for December, right?
Right.
So the importance of creating a content calendar and how much work you go into, like, do you really have to overthink it or just jot some ideas down?
I mean, it could be. I think building a content calendar is a personal thing. I think when I build my content calendars, sometimes they're really, really specific, and it will be like the assets are in the content calendar,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
my copy is in the calendar. And sometimes it's just like post video to TikTok about this
Yeah.
with a hyperlink to the script, and that's it.
Yeah.
No thoughts, no nothing, but it's like film TikToks. And then it's like TikTok one about this, TikTok two about this, TikTok three about that. And that's like all of that's in my content calendar. And I'm assuming I'm posting all three of them that day, you know? But
Yeah.
to build a content calendar is a great thing. You can never, ever, ever, I truly don't believe in this. You can never, ever, ever be too prepared. But I don't think it's worth pulling your hair out over. If you're the kind of person that just works with sticky notes, or maybe you're not as a tech savvy person. I jot down so much in my notebooks.
Yeah.
Notebooks saved my life
Yeah.
because I'm just a person that needs pen and paper. I
Mhm.
can put everything digitally afterwards, but I just need to write it down. So building a content calendar does not have to be a huge deal. I think, you take a glance at your year and then you go smaller and smaller and
Yeah.
smaller and smaller. And that's the best way to do it, especially as a small business. Back in July, um, when I was at the Trevor Project, we were already talking about back to school
Yeah.
and we had an idea of what that was going to go into. Or, you know, once we get into November, we're already thinking, or once we get into October, really, we're thinking end of year.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's got Giving Tuesday in November and then the holidays.
Yeah.
So, and then you have your cycle, and then it's the new year, and then you've got Valentine's Day, and St. Patrick's Day, and
And it starts
Labor
all over
Day,
again.
and the summer sales. So, and it starts all over again. So, once you get your year at a glance, mark it out, mark the big moments that you don't want to miss, and then you can go smaller and say, okay, well, we're working on this campaign. How long is this going to take? I shouldn't call it a campaign, but just say we have this coming up. I
I
mean,
mean,
it is a
you
campaign.
can. I mean, as a small business,
As a
even
small
though ours are
business.
not like major campaigns, they are still campaigns. And it's
Oh,
still, I need to do XYZ for blah, blah, blah. And I'm preparing for the holidays. So let me get the word out in September and October. And it's like, hey, it's November. And because December, we should be talking about, can I get a holiday session? You do know that it's like December,
it's
right? Like
December.
it's kind of late.
Yeah, the holidays are here. We're here now.
But But let's talk about looking at the calendar and preparing for things as a whole because, I'm kind of running off the cuff, slightly running off the cuff. I knew today is September 1st, and I do know that you've got a little something, something going on today. So, what is
Um,
that about? What is that about?
yes. So, like I said at the beginning, I am a singer-songwriter, but I go by a different name. I go by Tiggs, so that is why my Instagram is it's Tiggs because it's me and I am Tiggs. Um, but like I said, I started as a social media manager, and I'm doing a case study with me as a singer songwriter. And so I built a persona and I built an Instagram of me as a songwriter, and sometimes I post content. But I've been writing since January about my life with the plans of putting some music out and really seeing how to market music. So my first single will be coming out in 2 weeks, Tableau, which is all about moments in my life and about how they made me who I am today and how we all have those moments.
Mhm.
And we all live in those moments. And, the word tableau comes from the French tableau vivant, meaning still image. So great to talk to a photographer about that. um, but yeah, so it's about these still images and flashbulb memories that kind of just stick out in my head while I was writing the song. But that'll be out September 14th. I just announced it today because the pre-save is live. So if you want to pre-save the song, there's a link in my bio to pre-save it on Spotify and Apple Music and whatever else you listen to. Tidal, it's you can pre-save it anywhere. Um, and yeah, that's the big news.
I'm excited because, like, when we were talking about doing this, and this is part of that content creation is to, get things to line up together if you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we knew it was the first, which is when you were going to do your launch,
Yeah,
right? And then I thought, well, September is also my month, so why not put all the things together and do something special, right? Like share your
absolutely.
expertise and share your art, as we
Yeah,
like to say.
and I think it goes to show that like you can do both. You don't have to sacrifice one thing that you enjoy for another thing that you enjoy. And I think a lot of this year has been learning that life is full of dualities. It's not always yes or no,
Ah,
but sometimes it's like yes and you know?
man,
Like it doesn't have to
man.
be one or the other. It can sometimes be both, you know?
Well, here's the deal. So I'm just, I'm always reading stuff, and I have more time to read as we are kind of, sitting with family.
Hmm.
Um, I was reading a post on LinkedIn yesterday about how people introduce themselves. And there is still the mindset of you are your job, which I gave that up some time ago. It's like, I'm never my job or my career. We're multifaceted, right? Like we are so many things.
That's
And
a
you
big
can't put
buzzword.
you can't put yourself in one box. It's like, no, I am this and I am that, and we're doing all the things. We're doing all the things. So I was asked like, how do I introduce myself? Well, I'm a small biz cheerleader, and I
Love
do
that.
look to help other small businesses grow their business,
Right.
you know, without any kind of idea of I should get something back in return. Seeing other people shine brings me joy. You
Agree.
know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I was a marathon runner.
Mm.
And runners and other athletes, most athletes, we have this idea of I don't have to be number one, but if this person beats their record, then I'm rooting for them. It's
Mm-hmm.
never the I'm gonna hit you in the gut so you fall and I can get the first prize. It's not that kind of mentality. It is,
Mm.
hey, keep running, keep moving, have a good run. So I look for, if I can do anything that helps somebody grow, promote their business, promote their song, promote their art, then I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in, right? Because, everybody has a season. We all have seasons. And what is yours is yours. When it gets to you, it's your time. Enjoy your time. But until then, cheer somebody else on. Like, it's not going to kill you. It
Yes.
actually just, it brings greatness into your life. So
Right.
that's one. And then as a photographer, we bring joy to other people, right? Because we get to capture those moments
Mm.
and
Those
really focus
typical
on the person. Yes.
that
Speaking of which, there's an article that came out today that I did, and I used one of your film images in that article. And God, that was a great project. It really was.
it was so
I had
fun.
plans to. It was fun, right? We had a great time. We had a great time. I had plans to do a part 2 this year, but plans. About plans.
They're always a changing.
They're always changing, but there is a want to continue that film project. It'll probably be sometime next year. Probably sometime next year. But we are still capturing things. I keep my camera on me at all times. At
Mhm.
all times. I'm like, oh, look at this. Hold on.
Yep.
Right. So it does work out, but this is we have there is so much more to us than just what we do on a daily basis, like from 9 to 5, or it's more like 9 to 6. It never really was like 9 to 5. I don't know where they got that
Mhm.
from.
It was
Dolly
not
Parton.
5.
Yes, times have changed. We're doing other things.
Right. No, I completely get it. So, yeah, I think this is a great platform. I love you. You know that.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet.
I you and your photography. I'm actually going to be using the ones that you gave me for social as well to promote some of my other singles that will be out later this year.
Nice. Very nice.
It's gonna be a fun time. But yeah, no, September is a new season and we're coming in hot.
Mhm, mhm. Fall's that time to sort of get things together, get
Hmm.
it all together,
I
start anew.
Yeah. It feels
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the American school system. It's like once
Be
September rolls around, like I'll be like, I can't wait for the kids to go back to school because then life seems normal again. Once the kids are out of
yeah,
school, I'm
it's like
like,
life starts
I
in fall.
outside. I was outside this summer. But, September is coming. Life is getting back to we go to work, we come home. Sometimes there's an event, maybe a dinner party
Yes,
at like brunch every
yes.
Sunday,
We're gonna eventually get there. I mean, it's one of those where I know for myself, I had plans to do some other things this fall, but it really all depends what's going on. Like literally, when I am done with this Instagram live, I am packing the bag to get back on the road to go back to Houston. So,
My
you
goodness.
know, we do what we do, and we work it out. We just work it out. Eventually, I'm gonna have to stop and probably sit still. We'll sit still somewhere. But
Vacation is
I,
coming.
I know, right? It's like, oh my goodness. But but this is one of those where I want to make sure I at least gave myself some airtime, a little bit of self care, right?
Hmm.
A little
Self
bit of self care, just because we're going and we're going, but there still are other things. But I do enjoy the Instagram lives, although Instagram doesn't love photographers anymore. But whatever, whatever.
I think I think I will say I don't think that Instagram has a personal vendetta against, but I think they're challenging. And this is more just me personally. I think they're challenging photographers to do something they've never done before. Because you think
No, but all that.
when you're a photographer, right, you focus on finding the perfect image and refining that image to show the true beauty that you see in it?
Yeah. Okay.
And I think you can do that with video. I'm gonna send you some reels. Let me send you some reels.
I mean, like there's like I was going through my timeline today, and I was like, is there anybody who has something that's not a video? And like I said, I don't mind video. I have no problems getting on
No.
video. I have no problems
So far.
creating video. But for an app that started as a photo sharing app,
Mm-hmm.
photographers and videographers are not the same job.
They are
Okay?
not the
They
same.
are not the same thing. So I'm kind of like, eh,
But I will
eh,
say there's a trending sound for photographers on Instagram for reels. And
well,
it's, have you seen
which one
that?
is it?
It's the one
Um,
the photographers are like, Instagram doesn't love photographers anymore and they want us all to do reels. So here's a
yeah,
reel of my favorite picture and that's it.
yeah. Yeah, I saved that one, and then I saved the one that says, I'm a photographer, I'm based here, I use this brand, and here's like some of my favorite images or whatever. So I
Yeah.
saved two. Like, I'll participate when I think, I don't mind participating, but I don't, it's not my thing. I have no problem doing video, clearly. Like, I can do video
No,
all day.
no,
It
definitely.
was a job I had at one time, so I have no problems doing that. I'm just like, really? I just kind of want to see some of the art. So Twitter is now where I follow the
Yeah.
photography hashtag,
Yeah.
and that's where I get to see like a lot of great film work and other things. And Flickr, like I've always been on Flickr,
Like,
but it is a
yeah.
photo community. But you
Yeah.
know, I mean,
I also even, I was
I enjoy change. I embrace change. I do. But when you change your algorithm like every 2 hours, it's like ridiculous.
yeah,
Just saying.
it's weird. I won't even lie to you. And it's kind of one of those things where you have to just either stay true or you bend with the trend, you know?
Yeah.
And those are
Yeah.
the options that we have. But I will say that I always like it when they change the algorithm. I mean, I can't stand when they change it drives me insane when they change the algorithm. That's always
It's
also like a
insane.
little fun because it's like, oh, so now I can't do that anymore. What can I do now?
Okay, so prime example is stories. All
Yeah.
right. So I've got the personal account.
Hmm.
I've got the biz account. My biz account, I have not been able to leave a story since April. I can't. It doesn't matter. Now, on my personal account, I can no longer leave videos. I
What?
can't do a reel or anything. So I'm thinking, what exactly is the point? Right?
That's
Like
wild.
it makes it hard to even try to grow your brand when you don't even have access to the tools. It's
I'll say
ridiculous.
that that's something that I'm coming up with too. As a digital creator, that's my Instagram type. They have
Hmm.
different versions of professional Instagram types.
Hmm.
Um, and with mine as a digital content creator, that's the type of Instagram I have. And I can't reply to people in chat. So like directly reply to their chat.
Yeah.
I can send a response, but I can't directly reply to what they said. Um, and then I can't leave any other comment or like any other action than a heart on everything that they say.
Interesting.
I can only heart. I can't put a laughing emoji. I can't put like a fire emoji or any other emoji. Just hearts. That's it. And I can't reply directly. I have to like just reply in feed. It's wild. It's wild. Yeah.
This is why Gwendolyn feels the way she feels about
Yeah,
it.
no, I feel you, Gwen.
Because, like, I understand technology has its moments, but if the tech doesn't work, and it's nothing like getting, like we both attend all kinds of events and webinars, and like, and here's how you grow in 2022. Sing your stories, do your reels, do your so and so. I'm thinking, I can't even do half of this stuff anymore,
Mm,
right? And I have like uninstalled, installed, cleared data, cleared the like did all the stuff, and I'm thinking, you know what? I quit. Gwendolyn quits.
yeah.
I'm good. So I'm here when I need to be here, but I ain't got no love for Instagram.
I love Instagram, I will say. And you know what I like about Instagram to other platforms is that, and I think it's because of the way the Instagram algorithm has started working,
Yeah.
where they are, they've curated my experience in a way where Instagram now feels like I'm going to my cousin's house. If that makes sense. Where it's like there's videos where I'm like, what the heck? What
Mhm.
are you talking about? And then there's other videos like, oh, so that's my cousin, that's a doctor that makes me feel insecure. And then it's like, here's a picture of, a dog. And you're just like, oh, that makes me feel great. And then, my reels will really just be like, and it's also who I follow. I follow, they
Yeah.
have the range. So I follow a lot of black content creators. So it also just feels like home in that respect. But, you know, even the suggestions become, here's something that we know that you're going to like based off everything else that you've liked in the
Yeah.
past. And
Yeah.
it puts me on to new things. I find events for me and my boyfriend that I know we're gonna love, and I send them to him. For me and my friends, or I'll find just other small businesses that I never heard of. For example, one of them it was suggested to me. It was this butchery in Queens, and
Hmm.
black-owned butchery, and they make great meat for
Oh,
prices. Yeah, they have fresh, daily stuff, and they only sell black-owned products there.
interesting.
It was so
Oh.
cool. And so we got some lamb chops, and I made some lamb chops.
Mm.
But I wouldn't have known it suggested to me. And you can do the same thing with your content. I also want to say, you as a small business owner, audience, and you, of course, um, there are avenues for you. I would definitely recommend looking at Instagram's Instagram page, especially Instagram for creators. They have
Hmm.
a lot of resources available to you on how to make Instagram work for you and your business. And there's tons of resources on just like whenever they change the algorithm, they let you know and they're like, okay, this is why we changed it, and here's how you can adapt with this change. Or if they change, adding things like stickers. Stickers weren't a thing on stories before. Instagram
Yeah.
didn't have stories before. So
Hmm. Hmm.
Snapchat had stories, and then Instagram did it, and then Facebook did it, and then Twitter did it, and that didn't last.
Yeah, that didn't last long. That did not last long.
Did everybody remember Fleets? I remember
I
Fleets.
do. I did a couple. I mean, even on LinkedIn, even
Yeah.
LinkedIn talked for a little bit. Remember?
Yeah.
And it goes back to I get that everybody is doing something. You
Hmm.
got to stay true to you, though.
You
If
do.
it's not what your audience wants, it's not what they do, then no. Everybody doesn't have to have it. Now, I've never done Clubhouse. Um,
Oh, I
because
did.
I'm not an Apple person. I'm Samsung. I'm Team Samsung. So whatever.
Yo,
But
Clubhouse was that garbage
but
for a hot minute.
but Twitter Spaces is still going. Whereas
Spaces is great.
last time I heard Clubhouse was kind of
Well,
you
because
know
Twitter Spaces exists,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because Clubhouse was invite only. That was the
invite only. Yeah,
and that was like really cool. It was like Raya,
yeah.
like so you had like Clubhouse, and it was like, ooh, who has an invite code to Clubhouse? How do I get into Clubhouse? And everybody was talking about Clubhouse, and Clubhouse was cool. Clubhouse was dope. There was actually a really cool community that I joined of like opera singers just on Clubhouse, and they were just like, we would just like get on and then like sing songs for each other and give feedback and talk about our work and stuff, and it was really cool. And I found some new people. It was awesome. So Clubhouse was dope, and then you didn't have to worry about your looks or anything
Yeah.
like that. And that was the whole appeal. It was like, we're tired of these things that make us feel insecure in this way.
Mhm.
So we're going to go to another platform. And then Twitter took it over when they did their Twitter Spaces. And from there, it was accessible to everyone. It wasn't so exclusive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was what brought more people in. Because then I could make a space with three of my friends, and we could just
Mhm.
kiki. Or all of my followers and my mutuals, and everybody can come on, and we can just like have a conversation. Or
Yeah.
I can invite somebody, and I've seen a lot of those talks. Um, I watched a lot of those talks on Twitter Spaces where it's like the Recording Academy gets on with
Mhm.
like producers and
Mhm.
things, or the Oscars will get on and just talk about the work, or with the directors on Twitter, and they'll just take 20 minutes, an hour to talk about this stuff. It's so interesting, but it's more accessible, and that's why it stays around.
And that's why it stays around because LinkedIn has audio events. Same kind of thing. People can join in, and you can come up to share your piece, and then get off the stage and say whatever. So I mean, but you can't take everybody's little extra and make it yours on a different platform. Like it's just not built that way. Not in my opinion.
Right. I
I'm
mean,
just
you
saying.
have to you have to stay true. And I think that's the thing is like we evolve, yes, we change, yes, but again, it goes back to that mission, man.
Mhm.
And I use man as a non-gender term, even though it totally is. But it goes back to staying true to your mission and your purpose. And Instagram still does that because the idea is it's a social network. It's a way for people to share parts of their lives with their audience. Even though they prioritize videos and reels, so as
Yeah.
a business person, it's stressful, but that's because everybody likes TikTok. And so they're saying, well, we like you, and we know that you like this thing, so we're going to incorporate this thing onto our platform so that you can come back and do the thing that we like you to do, which is
Well,
spend love.
we may attempt to find some love for Instagram again, but since my technology is not working, I'm in a different boat right
Oh, I would
now.
definitely like that. You know what? You know what the best way to get in contact with a brand, a big brand? Twitter.
It is. Oh, you're darn right. It's the first thing I do. Like if things are not working well, I just at them, and then you get to the DMs and get your stuff done, and
Right?
it's done. It's like the best thing ever.
Anything goes
So
wrong.
there's a place
Check
for
the Twitter.
everything.
I don't even Google it. I don't call them. Like
No,
my phone isn't
nope.
working. And this happened actually recently. My phone wasn't working, and I was like, "What the heck? My phone isn't working." But I know I paid my bill, and I checked online, and I was like, "No, I definitely paid my bill. I don't understand why my phone isn't working." And so I went to Twitter, and I was like, "T-Mobile." That's all I typed into Twitter, and it was like, "T-Mobile national outage." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
good to know that like all over the country, T-Mobile has just stopped working.
It is the place for the latest, greatest breaking news. Twitter does have that down. It
Because
definitely does.
long. So anytime something comes out, it goes on
You're
Twitter.
like,
After that,
yeah,
forever. I
yeah.
mean, you can find it if you look, but you know,
Twitter's faster. I just go there. Like it says breaking news. I go there, I find it, and then I'm good.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, Reggie! Thank you as
Anytime.
always, spending this hour with me and giving us such some really great advice. Some really good advice.
Happy to
And
do.
I'm gonna have to go on. Like it'll be late tonight when I get into when I roll back into Houston. But I will get my pre-purchase of your single
Thank
because
you.
I have to be there for day one. I got to be the day one. I
Yes,
got to be one of the
yes,
day ones.
yes,
Yeah.
please. I like
Yes.
that.
Indeed.
That's another. This is the last little trick that I'll give you. So, as a business person and as a social media manager, when you're on social media, the idea is to get your community engaged with you. And the biggest things is to have meaningful comments in your comments. And people look for this. As a digital citizen, they look for this. Um, and so when you have an engaged fan base, I like to find a great way to engage your fan base is to find an emoji or find, you know, something. And emojis are really great because people love emojis.
Yeah.
So you find an emoji that works and then just say like, and if you read this far, or comment this emoji so I know that you read this and I know that you're, you know, a real fan, or comment this emoji and we can talk, and you know, like anything, but it's just like, you know, I watch YouTube videos all the time and they're like at like halfway through the video and they're like, "All right, and if you made it this far, leave this comment so I know that you made it this far and we can talk in the comments about, you know, your ideas and share what you think." Or they'll ask you a question and it's like, "If you think this is wrong or if you think this is right, let me know in the comments." You know,
Yeah.
if you like this, what's your favorite color? Tell us in the comments. Which one do you like? Tell us in the comments. Polls are also really good for engaging with your audience on
Mhm.
Instagram. So those two are like my top two. So if you read my recent caption, check it out. You might see a little something there.
I did. I'm a rebel. I love hearts. I said I'm a rebel, so I'm
I
leaving hearts instead.
No, I love hearts. The hearts are coming later. I planned this all out, girlfriend. I planned this all out. We good for the next like 3 months planning
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
content. So yeah, I'm so glad that you invited me, that you took the time to talk to me, and I am more than happy to share any information. If you all enjoy this talk, if you like this talk, feel free to drop me a DM and ask me any questions that you might have. I'm totally open to sharing my knowledge, and I would love to connect with y'all.
Well, keep that in mind that it may very well be tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna be tomorrow, so I'm gonna do it tonight. I gotta get on the road. this will be on YouTube, and then it'll be shared on LinkedIn. So we're
Oh,
gonna get a whole nother set of audience. Yes,
yeah.
yes. hmm So,
On,
we'll capture all the people because sometimes people can't be here, but that's the beauty of video, right?
amazing.
Sweet. Thank you, Rejy, for giving me your hour, and thank you everybody who chimed in and came in and waved and what have you. And Gwendolyn is going to hitching on back to Houston and take care of some loved ones. See you
Yeah.
guys later. Everybody be safe.
Be safe. Love to you and your family, love.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.